Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakhaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धून एव च पतिदानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। The devotees, welcome for today's Bhakti Vriksha class. So today is actually Ekadashi day and it's a very auspicious day. I thought that I should just tell about the story of the Ekadashi. And in one of the writings of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, they had expressed a lot of inquisitiveness about how this Ekadashi appeared and what is so special about her characteristics. So from the Padma Purana, he was actually quoting. There is a section over there, Kriya Sagarasara. And there is actually a story that once Gemini Rishi, he told his spiritual master, Srila Vyasdev, that, previously you had described to me the history of the glories of Ganga river and what are the benefits of worshipping Vishnu and giving grains in charity, giving water in charity, and what is the magnanimity of drinking the water that has been washed the feet of the Brahmanas. We say na Shuddha Bhakta Charana Renu. So please tell me that what are the benefits of fasting on Ekadashi and how does this Ekadashi appear? So Srila Vyasdev, he says that in fact he's asking also that where is the birth of sorry, what was that? I think that when did Ekadashi take birth and whom did she appear? Then what are the rules of fasting on Ekadashi? What are the benefits of following the Ekadashi vow? So there are 2 Ekadashis coming on every month. So, and who is the presiding deity of Ekadashi? Whom should we worship? And if I don't follow Ekadashi, then what are the faults of not following Ekadashi properly? And then, Srila Vyasdev is telling Gemini Rishi that these results of following Ekadashi, only Lord Narayan can perfectly describe, because he's only the person completely capable of describing this Ekadashi's glories in full. But he said that I will tell you in brief about what you have asked me. So he says that when this material creation was created by the Supreme Lord. So previously all moving and non-moving living entities, they were created. And all these, 5 gross elements, earth, water, air, fire, ether. So, and, even for punishing the human beings, then there was a personality created who was the embodiment of sin. His name is Papa Purusha. So this Papa Purusha, his different limbs that were there, they were, constructed of different types of sinful activities. Like his head was made of the sin of murdering a Brahmana, or his eyes were from the sin of drinking some, intoxication, or his mouth was made of the sin of stealing gold from somebody. His ears were made from, some, if you have had some illicit connection with your spiritual master's wife, then, his ears were created. His nose were of, created with, if somebody is killing one's wife, there also the nose has been created from there. Then his arms were created from the sin of killing a cow. His neck was made from, stealing wealth from somebody. If somebody's accumulated some wealth and you steal that wealth. And his stomach was made of the sin of killing one's relative. Sometimes, cousin brothers kill cousin brothers, or cousin brothers kill uncles and all, And his navel was, made of the sin of killing who are, dependent on him. Sometimes what happens, parents kill their children in the womb only, or sometimes the parents kill the daughter in the womb only. So that way. And his waist was made of self-appraisal, because when you praise yourself. And his thighs were made of, when you offend your guru, then his thighs were made of the offending of guru. His genitals were made of the sin of selling one's own daughter. His buttocks were made of the sin of telling confidential matters to somebody. His feet were made of the sin of killing one's father. And his hair were made from some very severe sinful activities. So all, all his body was made from all sinful acts. So in this way, all this horrible, Papa Purusha that was there, he was completely an embodiment of sinful activities. And this Papa Purusha was created that way. So his body color was very black in color. His eyes were completely yellow. And this person role was that he will inflict only extreme misery upon sinful people. His role was only this. So Lord Vishnu, when he saw this personality of sin, he was thinking that, oh, I am this creator of this misery and happiness for the living entities. So I am their, ever well-wishing master also. And I have created this personality of sin, who's giving distress to all these dishonest people, those who are deceitful, those who are sinful. So if I have created this, Papa Purusha, then I must create someone who will control also this Papa Purusha or this personality. So then, you know, uh, uh, then he created another personality called as Yamaraj. And he created a different, what do you say, hellish planetary systems also. So those living entities who are very sinful, they will be sent after death to Yamaraj. And then Yamaraj in turn will, according to their sins, he will send them to the hellish, planets or regions to suffer. So after all this had been made, the Supreme Lord, who gives distress also and who gives happiness also, then he went to the house of Yamraj on his Garuda. So when Yamraj is seeing Lord Vishnu, he immediately, washed the feet of Lord Vishnu. He made an offering also, and then he made Lord Vishnu sit on a golden throne also. And Lord Vishnu sitting on the throne, he was hearing very loud cries coming from some direction. So he became surprised by this, that, where is this loud crying coming from? So Yamraj is replying that all these different entities, of earthly planet, they only have fallen into this hellish region. And they are suffering extremely from their misdeeds, whatever they have done. So, and this horrible crying is because they're suffering from all those, inflictions from whatever are their bad karmas, the past bad karmas that they have done. So Lord Vishnu, when he heard this, he went to that direction and he saw. And and when these people, saw who had come, they began to cry even more louder. So Lord Vishnu's heart became very filled with compassion, seeing everybody crying. So see, Lord is the mother of all the living entities. If the child is crying, why will the mother not have compassion? Even if you see in your daily life also, suppose a child is crying, and he's crying loudly, and then he's raising his hand. What will the mother do? Immediately pick up that crying child. So like that only Lord Vishnu, he also became very much filled with compassion. And then he's thinking that, oh, I have created all these living entities, and it is because of me they are suffering. So then the Supreme Lord, he is thinking that, like previously what, he thought over what he had previously conducted. Then suddenly the Supreme Lord manifested from his own form, the deity of Ekadashi. So from the Supreme Lord only this Ekadashi has come. And all the sinful people, after that, when they started following Ekadashi vow or the fasting, they were immediately, elevated to the Vaikuntha planet. So this Ekadashi is the very same self of the Supreme Lord. And, this Ekadashi is actually the same as the super soul which is sitting in the hearts of all the living entities. So this Ekadashi is a very, very pious, personality. And anybody who fasts on that day, will attain Vaikuntha. So, so Ekadashi is that personality who is the, embodiment of whatever bad somebody has done. But if he does Ekadashi, then that influence, will go away. So, when this Papa Purusha, he saw Ekadashi, so he became, disturbed. because he saw that she had a very powerful influence. So then he's approaching Lord Vishnu, with doubts. He's offering many prayers, and then Vishnu is becoming pleased, and then Vishnu is saying that, okay, I'm very pleased by your nice offering. What boon you want to tell me? So this Papa Purusha is saying that, see, I am your progeny that you have been created. I am your progeny, you have created me, and it is through you only, that I am giving distress to all these living entities who are very sin. But now, because this Ekadashi has also come, I have become completely destroyed. So after I die, all your parts and parcels who have accepted this material body will become liberated, and they will return back to Godhead or to Vaikuntha. So if this liberation is taking place of all the living entities, then who will carry out your activities? There should be PAP also, and there should be, counteraction also to that. So, and there will be no one to, enact your pastimes in the earthly planetary system. So he's saying that if you want these pastimes to carry on eternally, then please save me from the fear of this Ekadashi. I'm very fearful with this Ekadashi. So he's saying that, see, no type of pious activity can bind me. But Ekadashi is the only person who is your own manifested form can, impede me or stop me. So out of this fear of Ekadashi, I have, fled and taken shelter of men, animals, insects, hills, trees, moving and non-moving all activities of rivers, oceans, hellish planetary systems, demigods and Gandharvas. I am not able to find any place anywhere where I can be free from the fear of Ekadashi. So, oh my Lord, you are, I'm your product. I'm your creation. So please, be merciful to me, and please help me and direct me that where will I be able to reside out fearlessly, where I don't have fear. So then, this Mahapursha, he fell down at the feet of Lord. And of course, whenever anybody falls at the feet of the Supreme Lord, we know that the Lord is definitely going to, destroy all these miseries and all his fear, and he's going to give him full protection. So, Lord Vishnu, he was seeing to this condition of this Mahapursha, and he said that, Mahapursha, don't worry, do not lament. Okay, just listen. I will tell you where you can stay on that Ekadashi day. It's actually this, it's called a lunar day of Ekadashi. Okay. So on this Ekadashi, which is the benefactor of all the three worlds, you can take shelter in the you can take shelter of foodstuffs in the form of grains. So whoever is eating grain on Ekadashi, then he is eating sin only. So don't worry. Now you don't need to worry at all. Now I'm giving you a place, and there's no reason to worry about now, because my form of Ekadashi will no longer impede you, because I am giving this order. So then, Papa Purusha, hearing this, he, disappeared, and he again began to perform his own activities. So now, those people who are serious about the ultimate benefit of their own soul, they will never eat grains on Ekadashi. No rice, no wheat, no moong dal, no beans, no chole. So, as when Lord Vishnu was instructing, so then every kind of sinful activity that can be found in this material world takes residence in food grains. And whoever is following this Ekadashi will be freed from all the sins. And anybody who is following Ekadashi will never ever see hellish planets. He will never go to hell. But if somebody does not follow Ekadashi because of some illusion or he's still doing some sins, he is the most biggest sinner actually. So for every that mouthful of grain that is eaten by people on this earth planet, one is receiving the effect of killing millions of brahmanas. तो जो ब्राह्मण की हत्या मतलब कितना बड़ा होता है. So that is why, on Ekadashi we don't eat grains. And whoever that person is, even if he is a Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, everybody, all the Varnas and all the ashramas should follow this particular Ekadashi. And especially if somebody, is following Ekadashi very strictly, then he gets more benefit. Because when we say that upavas means, upa means up and vas means sitting. So when you rise to the above level and you sit and you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, so that time you become very more closer to the Supreme Lord. Because this Ekadashi, fasting, Ekadashi means actually, in Sanskrit, is 11th day. So actually there are two Ekadashi fastings every month. One is during the Shukla Paksha and the other is during the Krishna Paksha. So on the 11th day of the new moon and on the 11th day after the new moon, this Ekadashi, is there. So many people are that, okay, why should, we observe this Ekadashi fast? We are observing already Monday fast and we are observing already Thursday fast and Saturday fast. So Lord Vishnu is only saying that every kind of sinful activity that can be found in this material world will take place in food grains only. So on Ekadashi fasting, if somebody wants to please the Supreme Lord, who is the deliverer of all the greatest sins a particular person has performed, and if we fast on that day, then all those sins will be eradicated. So on an Ekadashi day, if I am fasting, it is developing in me a very religious attitude. A religious attitude where I am increasing my wealth. Now, what wealth am I increasing? The wealth of chanting the holy names of the Lord. Like, for example, if you see, a baniya, okay, or a merchant, what he does is at the end of the day, he's counting how much did I do collection today, right? So like that, we devotees also, we are also counting that, okay, how many rounds did I do today on an Ekadashi? Why? Because on an Ekadashi, when to fast on an Ekadashi is very pleasing to Krishna. Why? Because this Ekadashi is born from the Supreme Lord's own body. So this Ekadashi, when I'm following it, is purifying me. And scientifically also, if you see that on an Ekadashi, if I am fasting, then it is like a, panchakarma done after every 15 days. So very, very purifying and very much potent it is. So on an Ekadashi, if I chant one round, I get the benefit of chanting 100 rounds. That same on an Ekadashi, if I chant in Vrindavan or Dwarka, or Mathura or Jagannath Puri or, in any dhams, so the effect, multiplies 1,000-fold. One round in the dham is equal to 1,000 rounds. So very potent this is. So on an Ekadashi day, we eat all non-grain, high carbohydrate food on an Ekadashi, such as, sabudana or sago. We can take some fresh fruits, milk, sama or moraiya or rajgira flour or singada atta or kuttu atta, or we can take peanuts also. We can take pepper, rock salt, cumins, and we can take potatoes also, elephant's foot also, sweet potato also. So there are many things. Only one day we have to actually sacrifice on eating grains. So this day, all the devotees around the world, they will avoid eating food. So what not to eat then? We don't eat wheat, rice, dal, peas, hare matar jisko bolte hai. And all those vegetables that are there, all those vegetables that are there in the bean family, all those vegetables there, they're in mustard seeds or, foods that are, derivatives or wheat flour, mustard oil, soya bean oil, or any other. You can take peanut oil. You can take Shuddh Desi ghee also. And but you don't take asafoetida, okay? Because this asafoetida, no, it is mixed with some or the other flour. So we don't take asafoetida. And then tomatoes we don't take. We don't take brinjals or eggplant. Then cauliflower, all these leafy vegetables, this also we don't take, so also if you see, Ekadashi is not, simply fasting. Ekadashi is meant that we reduce or minimize the demands of this body, and you engage that same time in the service of the Supreme Lord by chanting the holy names of the Lord. You chant some extra rounds. You chant by remembering the Supreme Lord, hearing his pastime, being in the association of devotees. So these all activities, when you do on an Ekadashi day, then it brings a lot of, positivity in you. Especially some devotees, they have some 1 or 2 hours of singing Vaishnava bhajans also. Vaishnava bhajans are also very, very powerful. And singing Vaishnava bhajans means we are, singing the heart of all the, previous acharyas. So, Ekadashi day is actually, you can say it's a discount day where devotee is, getting 100% discount on that day. Wherever he is sitting, in whichever part of the country he is sitting, he is remembering the Supreme Lord in the association of devotees. That would be really nice. But somebody, does not have the association of devotees, and he's bereft of the association because maybe he's staying very far away from the temple and it's very difficult. So nowadays you have, what do you say? You have Zoom and all. And so, Prabhupada says that, like somebody asked Prabhupada that can we offer grains to the deities? So Prabhupada said yes, but you should not offer grains to the Guru then. Why? Because Ekadashi is observed by Jiva Tattva and not by Vishnu Tattva. So that is why we are fasting to clear our material diseases. But it does not apply to, the deities. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also should not be offered grains because he is also playing the, part of the devotee. So only Radha Krishna and Jagannath Baldev Subhadra can be offered greens. Give me just 1 minute. It is raining very heavily in my house. We'll just pull. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Sorry for that. The raining is very heavily in my area. So, yeah. So then Guru and Gauranga, that is there, that any prasad should not be taken by anyone. So like, for example, today is Ekadashi and I have offered something which is, rice, dal and all that to the Supreme Lord. So then what I do, I keep it for the next day, I preserve it for the next day because it is Mahaprasad. And then on the next day, I will have it as, prasadam. So when you have a regulated fasting on Ekadashi, then it is not, an impediment to our spiritual advancement because you have an aspect of devotional service and that can be, considered as an, main principle supporting that, okay, I'm worshipping Lord Radha Krishna and I am serving his devotees. Because many times, some secondary principles help, one become, fit for executing the primary processes of devotional service. So the primary process of devotional service is what? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padanam, Sevanam, Archanam, Atma Nivedanam. All these are, when you have these devotional services, then it is very greatly beneficial for everybody. So, if you see, even Maharaj Amrish, along with his, wife, both of them observe Ekadashi and Dwadashi for 1 year. And Amrish Maharaj is like, one of the Mahajans. And his behavior is so exemplary that whatever vows he had taken that time, it was very tough vows that he had taken. So he's like a, role model for the Vaishnavas. And he was not negligent about whatever he did. So sometimes, people, if they are, negligent about, not fasting on an Ekadashi, then his worship is very useless because, see, negligence means what? Today is Ekadashi. And all of a sudden, in the morning, you rise up and you eat some grain. So that is called negligence. Why? Because, for example, today is 16th April. Then in my calendar, I will find out which is the next Ekadashi. Okay. In the month of May. Okay. So in the month of May, one Ekadashi comes on, give me 1 minute. Okay. So actually in our ISKCON, we have this ISKCON, the calendar. So it's very easy. Because the next Ekadashi will come in the month of May only. Ekadashi May 2023. 1st of May, the next Ekadashis. So now we know that on this Ekadashi, and when you are really sincere enough, what happens? Krishna guides you from inside. Okay, 1st of May. And then that next Ekadashi is on 15th of May. So now it is fit into your memory chip that, okay, this Ekadashi is, there. So, so when we are also chanting and see, right from the beginning of his childhood, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told everybody to fast on an Ekadashi day. And even in Jiva Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami's Bhakti Sandarbha also, there is a, saying from the Padma Purana that anybody who's eating grains on Ekadashi becomes a murderer of his own mother, brother, father, and spiritual master. And even if he is elevated to the, Vaikuntha planet, he will still fall down. So on Ekadashi, everything is cooked for Vishnu. Normal, grains and dal and everything. But we should not take. And we should, not even distribute. We should not even distribute to anybody, not even to animals. So it is completely forbidden to accept any grain. Because see, if I'm giving somebody grains on an Ekadashi day, still I am also, I'm also doing a sin actually. So there is one more story which comes in Bhagavatam of Lord Rishabdev. Actually, I'm not remembering that story because where Rishabdev is actually telling his sons that all these living entities who have accepted his material body, so anybody who has been awarded this human form of birth, they should not work they should not work day and night very hard for sense gratification, because sense gratification is saying that is available even for dogs and hogs for eating stool. So this human form of birth is given for us to engage in penance and austerity and to do bhakti to the Supreme Lord. And when somebody is doing this bhakti, then that particular person's heart will be purified. And when he will attain his original constitutional position, he will be, blissful also. He will have transcendental happiness also. And he will be reinstated in his eternal constitutional position. And that position will continue forever, where he does not have to come again over here and suffer. So he's saying that, Rishabdev says that, Tapo Divyam Putraka. So this life, Putraka, he's saying Putra, this life is meant for Tapasya. So Tapascharana Karo. So this life is meant to go under severe austerities and penance. And then what will be the result of this Tapasya? So then he's saying that Shuddham Sattvam will be the result. So he's saying that Shuddham, what is that? I'm just very bad at remembering shloka. She's saying that Shuddhyad Yasmat Brahma Sukhayam Tab Ananta. So when you become Shuddha, then you will be purified. Your mind, your heart, your consciousness will be purified. And then you will get what? Brahma Sukhayam. You will get transcendental happiness and blissfulness. And, that is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. You will get Krishna. And this transcendental happiness and blissfulness, and that is why this life is meant for Tapasya. So, Amrish Maharaj's also story is very wonderful, that Amrish Maharaj is a devotee of the Supreme Lord, and he knows this benefit of doing Tapasya, and he's observing this Ekadashi, and he's observing the Dwadashi Vrata also. He knows that when I'm offering this, or I'm actually doing this, fasting of Ekadashi, I'm doing it for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, to give him enjoyment and happiness. And when I'm giving up my own enjoyment, then who is pleased? The Supreme Lord is pleased. So when I'm constantly chanting the holy names of the Supreme Lord, then over there the Lord is pleased. So the more you chant, the more the Lord becomes pleased. And why are you, what is that shloka in that? He says that Krishna, he says that Krishna प्रीतये भोग त्याग. कृष्ण की प्रीति के लिए भोग को त्याग दो. Give up the enjoyment so that Krishna will be pleased. So give pleasure and happiness to Krishna. And this is only the purpose of a Vaishnava. Jivera Swarup hoy, Jivera Swarup hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das. So, our Swarupa as a Jiva is that I am the servant of Krishna. My identification is that I am the servant of Krishna. Mahaprabhu says, Gopir Bhartur Padakamalyo Das Das Anu Das. So this is my identification that I am rendering sweet, loving devotion service to the Gopir Bhartu. Who is the Gopir Bhartu? The husband of the gopis. And who is the husband of the gopi? Gopinath. So I am giving him all that pleasure and happiness. So even, Shastras say that Bhakti Vinod Thakur, in one of his actually lectures or his one of his bhajans, he's saying that Nij Sukha Lagi Kichu Nai Koriyar Bhakti Vinod Bole Tava Sukha Sar. He's saying that Nij Sukha Lagi Kichu Nai Koriyar. So I don't want anything for my own enjoyment or any happiness. Oh Lord, I will do everything for your enjoyment and happiness. Tava Sukha Sar. This is the attitude of a devotee or a bhakta or a Vaishnava, that for the pleasure and happiness of Krishna, he gives up his own enjoyment and happiness. And when you give up your own enjoyment and happiness, that is called tapasya. So this Ekadashi Vrat is one of the limbs of bhakti, or one of the angas of bhakti. So, in Sanatan Goswami's also, teachings to Mahaprabhu actually gives instruction to Sanatan Goswami while actually teaching sadhana bhakti. He says that I am saying sadhana bhakti has many angas, 64 angas. And Ekadashi Vrat is one of the angas, and one must fast on Ekadashi, that one should be prepared to give up everything for Krishna's satisfaction. One should accept everything for Krishna's satisfaction. One must live in a place where Krishna is present, like in a city like Vrindavan or Mathura, or a Krishna temple nearby. So one should acquire one should have a livelihood also, which is just sufficient enough to keep the body and soul together. And when one fasts on the Ekadashi day, he will have a lot of bliss and happiness. So Mahaprabhu always is saying that give up all this sense enjoyment for the pleasure of Lord. One should fast on an Ekadashi day. And if you see in a year, there are 24 Ekadashi, because in 1 month 2 Ekadashis, other than 24 Ekadashis in a year. And so Mahaprabhu was a little strict. He says that complete fasting, no eating anything, just drinking water or something. And so on even these days also, like when you have Janmashtami, when you have Ram Navami, when you have Nityanand Mahaprabhu's appearance day, Balram's appearance day, or Varada Dwadashi. Now we're having Narsim Chaturdashi coming on the 4th of May. Then Gaur Purnima also, we just, went before Ram Navami. So all these, fasting days are there, and these fasting days are all vrata. And these vratas are actually for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. And on that day, what happens now, when you reduce the bodily requirements, then the soul requirement keeps on increasing. And what is the soul hankering from? The soul is hankering only for Krishna. The soul is not hankering for food, actually. The soul, if you see in Jains and all now, my Nani and my Dadi, they both come from a Jain family. So they used to fast on water for 16 days, boiled water for 16 days, morning, evening, only drinking water. And still they did not die. We here have to fast only for, 1 day. And so 1 day without, food or anything, you can see there are many people, no, they have problems with acidity and migraine, and in those conditions, those devotees have to see to the health condition first. Somebody has acidity problem, somebody has headache problem, then they can take fruits and milk. They can eat 3 times, no problem. Prabhupada says that you eat but you chant more. So, so then, even if you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, one day he's falling down at his mother's feet and he's requesting her to give something in dan, charity. Then the mother is saying, okay, what do you want? Tell me. So saying, you will give me whatever you want, whatever I ask you. She's saying, yes, I'll give you whatever you ask me. So then the Lord is telling that, please do not eat grains on Ekadashi. So then even Mahaprabhu asked his mother to fast on an Ekadashi, that please do not eat grains on an Ekadashi. And Sachi Mata was very obedient mother. She from that day, did not eat grains. She observed Ekadashi, and she fasted from grains on that. And prior to this, even Sachi Mata was not fasting. She was taking grains on Ekadashi. Because why she was taking grains, there is a reason for that. Because see, these Smarta Brahmanas, only those who are widows, and women will fast on Ekadashi day. But those who are not widows, they won't observe that fast. So that was that culture in those days at that time. And Sachi Mata, that's why she was not observing Ekadashi fast. But Mahaprabhu requested her now to follow. And that is why Sachi Mata, started following Ekadashi from that day. And in one of the lectures that I had heard, it is said that anybody who is eating grains will become a killer of his own mother, father, brother, sister, like. So all these sinful things are there on an Ekadashi day only. So anybody can observe fasting. A small boy also can fast, because like now we see in our movement, even the child is fasting right from the mother's womb itself only. So he's starting right from childhood only, Ekadashi, because it all depends on the mother, that how she can make the child fast on an Ekadashi day, how she's training the child, how she's training the child that to observe Ekadashi. So anybody from the womb can start chanting or start observing Ekadashi day. Who cannot observe? Somebody who's become very old, above 80 years, may not observe. But up to at least 80 years, somebody should observe, It is said that till 80 years, you should observe Ekadashi, because many times after 80 years, the body becomes very deteriorated. But see, those who have had a practice from a very long time, maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, the body becomes very much accustomed to, fast on an Ekadashi day. The body clock only gets set up in such a way where he will chant and he will fast on an Ekadashi day. So that's why we are actually chanting for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So anybody has any questions, queries, doubts on this? Tomatoes over here, I think most of the temples, in our temple, tomatoes, they are not allowing. Yes, you can observe fast even during those days. Yes, Priyanka, absolutely. Tomatoes in our temple, I have not seen. So I don't know. And even actually, I have been fasting right from my childhood. So my mother used to never give us tomatoes in food. So I don't know about tomatoes. But it is written in the Ekadashi book that you don't have to have tomatoes, like, in that way.
Mataji, what about medicines like for acidity we have or regular medicines which we take, supplements or something like that?
See, nowadays, you know that all these medicines, you know, they contain so many other things like fish, what do you say, fish oil and so many other alcoholic things. So on an Ekadashi day, if it is not a do-die situation, or it's not that if in case if you're dying without that medicine, then you can take that medicine, because to live is also the birthright of a human being. But as far as possible, you should avoid, medicines on that particular day, whether it is Ayurvedic medicines or whether it is allopathy or whether it is homeopathy medicines. And acidity ke liye, you should keep on drinking water. See, somebody has acidity problem now, his acidity problem will be solved by doing panchakarma on that day. Only fast from water. Just drink water the whole day. Automatically all that acidity will go away. Means his acidity will be cured permanently if he keeps on doing Ekadashi regularly. Because that Ekadashi day, it's like a cleansing day, both for external also and internal also. And Ekadashi day is like a reporting day. That okay, in past 15 days, what did I do, Supreme Lord? मैंने क्या किया, कितनी माला किया, कितना reading किया, कितना preaching किया, कितने सेवा किया. So let's like a, a report day also between you and the Supreme Lord, that what I did in the past 15 days. What did I do for myself also, and pushing this movement also ahead. So see, preaching does not mean sitting on the Vyasasana and giving big lectures. Preaching can be one-to-one also. Just maybe 5 or 6 minutes also, if you have told your friend something about the Supreme Lord, that is also preaching. So preaching does not need some big lectures for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, or 2 hours. No, preaching initially everybody starts with one-on-one preaching, where you preach to your friends, you preach to your relatives, you try to give them a Bhagavad Gita, you go and read with them, or you just give them prasadam. So giving prasad is also preaching. Because why? You are giving prasadam means mercy of the Supreme Lord. You are giving mercy to these relatives or friends. ठीक है ना? There is one more question in the chat. हाँ. So see, headache के लिए है ना, you eat nicely, you drink good milk, you eat fruits. And is it only on an Ekadashi day you suffer from headache, or all the days you're suffering from headache? Monica?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Ha.
On the Ekadashi, and even if I have fruits only, then also I have a very severe headache. So I started having kheers and all.
So I'll tell you what to do then. Okay, there is a small, kadha you can make. Ginger hai, fresh ginger hai. You grate that ginger and you take little water, 1 glass of water you take. This 1 glass of water you take and you boil the water, put ginger in that, put a little ghee in that, half a spoon ghee in that, and take jaggery. Jaggery also cut into small pieces, and take jaggery and boil that water. When you boil that water for 4-5 minutes, and then you take it little warm. Don't take it too cold and don't take it very hot also. Just normal. Why? I'll tell you. When on an Ekadashi, some people have this Vata problem because you don't eat anything. So there is a lot of Vata developed. So what does ginger and jaggery do? Ginger and jaggery, they will kill that Vata. And what will ghee do? Ghee will smoothen all the veins of the body. So this is a very nice way where you can see, in the, when immediately you have a headache, you try and test it, and you do, and you, Monica, for you now, you keep eating and doing fasting. If anybody has this headache problem now, He should not do too much of austerity sort of, because our main aim is what, to chant more rounds on that day, right?
Yeah, I cannot concentrate only.
Ah.
Even at the afternoon, I start having a headache problem. So
Ah.
I used to.
So see, what you should do that also. As soon as you wake up in the morning, even at night, what you should do on one day before Ekadashi, take 4 to 5 badam, 4 to 5 black grapes, one anjeer, and walnuts. Okay, and you soak them. And when you get up, first thing you eat these dry fruits, which are soaked. And then you sit for chanting for a very long time. You'll not have acidity. And beach mein you keep on drinking water. Keep on drinking. This is a so short solution. Still you have a headache, then again what I told you, do that kadha. Kadha din mein ek baar to bana ke piyo in midday at least. Even this much also, half a glass also bana ke piyo. That will kill the vat, kaph, pit and vat we have, no? Or in Ekadashi day, what happens when we are not eating anything, then vat problem will keep on increasing. So then this will have a big problem. In between, I did have this problem actually. What you are facing, no? I was not eating anything from morning. And by the time it is 12 o'clock, I used to have severe headache. So then my mother, because my mother's father, no, he was a Ayurvedic doctor. So then my mother told me that, when you have ginger grated with jaggery and little ghee, it is, sure solution to kill vat. And instantly my headache gets lowered down. Within half an hour, that headache will come down. And then normally you keep on chanting, no, and eating and all that. See, I used to do Nirjala. 4 5 years pehle, I used to fast on Ekadashi. I used to do Nirjala. But I stopped doing Nirjala because my health started taking a toll because of that. And as you age, no, your, what do you say, क्षमता जिसको बोलते हैं ना, वो थोड़ी कम होते जाती है, means at least with, and it depends from body to body also. There are so many elderly people I know, than me also, those who are 50 60 70, they are also doing it. Like my own father, I'll tell you, my own father is 78 years old, and on Janmashtami day he will do, what do you say, Nirjal fasting he will do. His body is allowing him to do Nirjala. Nirjala Ekadashi also he will do proper Nirjala. उनको कुछ नहीं होता है. So his body is only, very tough body. And even like my sister also. My sister also does Nirjala Ekadashi. So her body, and my sister is younger to me. So still her body is allowing her, but my body is not allowing for, that Nirjal Ekadashi once a year that comes, वो भी बहुत मुश्किल से, I'm able to do it. But because it's Nirjal Ekadashi, we somehow either mentally prepare our mind and we, do that Nirjal Ekadashi. Otherwise, all other Ekadashis, I, eat properly and I do Ekadashis like that.
Yeah, I have contrast because I don't feel hungry all the days. क्या होता है कि मुझे भूख ज्यादा नहीं लगती, तो आई एम ऑलरेडी अंडर वेट, so I'm taking medicine to increase my hunger. But on the Ekadashi day, if I will do fast, then I also created headache. So it is, I don't know what is wrong with my hunger and body.
No, because sometimes bhakti also now brings you to a little higher platform also. It's not like that there are many people who once come in bhakti, they don't have too much of hunger because the soul has got satisfied, the soul is getting that food, so body is not demanding food at all. On the other side, I know so many people who are doing only binge eating after coming into bhakti also. So it depends on what is your intent of coming into bhakti. What is your attitude of coming into bhakti? So that also matters a lot. But in any case, you can just, consult a doctor and consult an Ayurvedic doctor. Don't consult any other doctor. Ayurvedic doctors will still give you better solutions for why you're not feeling hungry on all the days other than Ekadashi.
Okay, and Mataji, second one is on Ekadashi day, you said that we should chant more and more, but I don't feel like chanting more. I used to hear more. I can hear even whole day, but I cannot chant whole day. So is it okay? Yeah, for chanting is must.
See, we have to train our mind. Ultimately, everything drills down to chanting. Why? Because when we are chanting, we are associating with the Supreme Lord directly. Okay, when we are hearing also, we are with the, but at least what Prabhupada has said on Ekadashi, 25 rounds, that much at least you can do. After that, if you're not feeling like chanting, don't worry. Gradually, you will have faith in chanting and you'll have the taste in chanting. You will chant more. And then that other times you can do Shravanam. You want to hear whole lectures or you want to hear the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, you can hear. But Prabhupada has given 25 rounds chanting on Ekadashi. So that much maybe we can follow and we can. And Monica, you know what is happening with you? If you are in association now, you'll be able to chant even 64 rounds on Ekadashi. So, in association of devotees, chanting becomes very smooth. Whether then we have interest, we don't have interest, mind is going here, mind is going there. But with that association, the power of association, you will bring your mind again and again back to chanting. For chanting 64 rounds also, I think I told in one of my classes that it is actually a planning done for चैंटिंग 64 राउंड. जैसे कोई बड़ा सा युद्ध करने जा रहे तो हम लोग कितनी तैयारी करते हैं ना, अस्त्र शस्त्र सब इकट्ठा करेंगे, then we go. So on an Ekadashi day, as we also have a war against our own mind and against Maya also. So one day before, we start preparing. From morning we prepare. Okay, tomorrow I want to chant 64 rounds. What are the preparations I will do? Okay, I will eat early. I will eat by 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. I will sleep early by 8:39. Then I'll wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So if I wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, by 2:30, having a bath and everything, I get ready. And after that, I will chant from 2:30 to 4:30. Then take a little break of 5-10 minutes, go for Mangala Aarti in the temple and all. If you are not staying near the temple, then that's pretty okay. You can still continue from 4:30 to then again 6:30 second slot. Then 6:30 to 8:30 third slot. 8:30 to 10:30 another. But if you're taking breaks, then by mid-12 afternoon, 64 rounds are completed. And then when 64 rounds are completed, you will see a very vast difference in yourself. बहुत drastic change आ जाएगा. You will feel, oh, my mind is purified, my existence is purified. I'm feeling very fresh. I'm feeling very enthusiastic and all. But then that's always a planning. And that 64 rounds, if done in the association of devotees, then वो माला है ना मक्खन की तरह आगे बढ़ती है. Otherwise, alone, it will become very difficult. We can also plan with our group one day, 64 rounds chanting. Maybe first of May is Maharashtra Day, Labor Day. We can try chanting 64 rounds on that day. In the association devotees, we can try out. Jagdish Prabhu is saying that, Mataji, any written article or content or video you can share with us. Yes, Prabhu, I'll share with us. Thank you. Yeah. Sure, I will send you this, whatever, I'm getting some material from anywhere, I will give it to you. Mataji, what about oils? Olive oil can be taken or only groundnut oil? So only two can be taken. One is groundnut oil and one is Desi ghee can be taken on an Ekadashi day. No olive oil, no sunflower oil, no soya bean oil, no mustard oil. Only two oils. Peanut oil, why? Because peanuts can be taken. And Desi ghee is from cow only, so it's not plant-based. So then we can take only these two. Okay. Any other question, Monica, you had? Okay. So fine, this was on Ekadashi day. If anybody has any queries, you all can ask me, Priyanka.
Yes, Mataji, I have one question. You mentioned we can increase the rounds on a day like Ekadashi or Ram Navami, like that. So I was thinking, like, sometimes during the weekends we have more time. So is it okay, like, to chant more during only those days when we have the time, and then continue the basic regular number of rounds which we do every day? Or
Yes, 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 yes. You can do. Like say for example, I'm chanting 8 rounds, okay, throughout. But Saturday, Sunday, I do have time. And I am chanting 16 rounds or 25 rounds. No harm in that. And then back again, Monday comes and I'm chanting again 8 rounds. So that is completely okay. But when you have to consistently increase your rounds, then only on an Ekadashi day. Like now you will decide that now, okay, for lifelong I will chant, 10 rounds. So okay, I'll increase on an Ekadashi day. Then again you decide, no, now lifelong I will chant 12 rounds. So then increase on an Ekadashi day or in Narshing Chaturdashi day or Ramnavami day or Janmashtami day, like that. So you can increase them that way. But on some auspicious day, why? Because I told you all that anything you do on an auspicious day becomes permanent. Then you don't get down from that standard that you have set for yourself that way.
yeah, okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Anything else somebody wants to add?
Mataji, I have a question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Let's suppose I am chanting, I want to chant and increase it to 10. So is it to be chanted all together, or can it be broken up into morning, afternoon, and evening?
Yes, you can break it up into morning, evening, and afternoon also, Prabhuji. Yes. Throughout the day, may you can chant these rounds. Throughout the day, in 24 hours, may, in that time slot that is there, then you can chant, you can say three rounds in the morning and 3 rounds in the evening, and then 4 rounds again in the, mid evening or something like that. You can do it afternoon, evening, anytime. Anybody else has any question or doubts or queries? Okay, fine. So with that, Ekadashi, glorification, I rest my speech over here only, and we'll start chanting again, in our own homes again. And thank you so much for joining. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Akshita. Hare Krishna.